Update on the Alpicool, which has worked phenomenally well. I've left this on for days now. I have it in the garage. It's probably 88 degrees out, 89 degrees out today. And it can maintain temperature, whatever I set it at. I filled it with bottles of water, little tiny ones, just as I could use a thermal mass, and I put it on the counter overnight, and I was able to freeze all of them within a single day, which was extremely quick for what I considered the volume of water. So that thing is doing really well. I really like the device. It's super simple. It's really light. It's portable. I would definitely recommend that. This little guy, however, this has been kind of a crux. I like it for the MPPT charge controller for the solar. I like it because it has 24 volts, and I like it because it has built-in AC. Those things aside, the DC functionality of this is really sad. Any of the DC functions, it doesn't matter which one you use, including the USB, are all unregulated voltage. So if I plug in a device into this right now, into any of these 12 volt output DCs, or into this cigarette lighter outlet, this is 2 bars out of 5 down right now. So this is roughly at 60% battery. This still occurred at about 11.4 volts when there was only 1 bar missing, so 80% lower, which means these devices won't have a full 12 volts to power whatever peripheral they may be, and some devices can be sensitive to that kind of thing and shut off early, much like a refrigerator. I did turn this down to the lowest setting for shut off, which is that little L there. That's the sensitivity of battery monitoring that it uses, so it knows not to kill your vehicle's battery. However, I'm still a little disappointed that this device didn't just come with a simple regulator that would just maintain 12 volts, especially on the USB side. These USB 3.0s do not rapid charge once this drops lower than 12 volts, which is very quick, right at about what I would assume 89 to 95% or so of the battery. This will still be in the 12 volt plus range, but otherwise it does not. So I'm going to be using it almost exclusively for AC. And then I'll actually get it another output DC that goes to one of these plugs so that I can actually power my devices in the Jeep, which I've also made now some extras for the Jeep, which are this here. I went to Walmart and bought one of those little plastic outdoor products boxes. This is a large watertight box. I bought this one as well, and I wanted to make something that could house all of my fuses and all of my inputs for the vehicle. So if I had to ever switch vehicles, it wouldn't be hardwired into it. So this gives me those outlets. I get 2 of them. I get a DC that'll actually tell me, and this works all the way from 12 to 24 volts, so these will as well, the whole system will. You just have to be mindful of what you're using. This will tell me the volt and the amps through a USB QC3, which is great. So I can use this for like the rapid charge or USB-C stuff, which is very deliberate for another reason. And then I put in 3 of those little 5.5 by 2.5 millimeter input on this side. So there are 6 output functions. This is the input. I've actually got this through a hole that I've put in there that I can actually feed a different cable in instead of using this plug. This plug only allows about 2 amps to go through it, and because of that, I also put this connector in there, which is uses a 12 gauge wire that connects to these terminals as well, so I can run up to 60 amps. Obviously I wouldn't run that much through it, but if I had a short jumper and a battery and I had something that used a lot of draw through one of these kind of terminals, that would allow me to run roughly about 20 amps through one of these things safely for short periods of time if I needed to for something. But this is my little box so that all of my electrical components will be secured in one place. Each one of those outputs is fused. These are all the little ones that wrap around to the front right over here. These are those 3. And then these 3 here on this side, these are all of these peripherals on the outside. So the cigarette lighter outlets, and then the other, the USB. And this works pretty simple. Obviously, I'm going to be running it probably off of the vehicle's DC, just so that it's more regular, higher voltage, because this thing again does not regulate voltage. So I turn this on, and boom, this turns on, and you can see right there we're reading out 11.3 volts, which makes it really hard for these things to achieve their proper output when the voltage is too low. The alternative to that is plugging in on this side and jumping it over to 24 volts, which this also doesn't read that out, which is kind of weird. And that goes up to 24.2, which seems obviously a little bit more regulated, but as you start to draw from that, it does come down to roughly a doubling of whatever this number is. So it should be at about 22.4 volts once you've put some load onto that 24 volt output. But yeah, that's this little device. It's my little jumper pack so that I can keep it very clean and organized wire-wise. And then if I ever have to move my units, my little solar battery pack, or any of the other accessories that I have, it'll be an easy transfer because everything is modular and kind of packed down ready. So some other things that go along with these kind of long-winded adventures when you take yourself out and about is, you know, if it's raining, I've done a lot of camping and been trapped inside in the rain, and when I'm camping out of my vehicle, that's not cool. So when I go to the beach, I'll often bring my Switch. And the Switch is great. It's a fun way to kill some time, and we got it because we play games together, which is where we pretty much bought the Switch for that reason. So what we did, or I did, because in the vehicle, the screen on the Switch is extremely small. It's just not really good for two-player play. So I found this screen here. This is a 15.6-inch screen. I think it's by Toposh. I haven't even taken the screen protector off it yet. Hey, there I am. What's up? This here is, I was looking at RV TVs that run off 12 volts, so I can maintain it in the vehicle. But what this is just a screen. It's basically a laptop screen that runs off of a USB-C power. Has a couple of inputs on the side. If I could actually get this thing to focus, I'd show you. Let's see here. It's trying. And it's a terrible camera. Well, that's what you get for a cheap Amazon Prime Day offer with the PH1. Well, here is a mini HDMI. This is an input style USB-C, so you can monitor or mirror your screen like your monitor on a laptop, like Apple laptops have the Thunderbolts. That's one of those. This just turns into an extended screen. Or for the Switch, it'll extend the screen as well. It has a second USB-C. This one is the charge port for it. Now this one's important because this has a Thunderbolt or rapid charge or whatever you want to call it, USB-C. I'm not probably going to use the terminology right because I'm an outdated, tech non-savvy anymore. You keep changing it on me. I can be the old man who doesn't know it all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this little guy in. So I have to pardon my camera work here. So just plug the monitor in. And I'm going to grab the USB link cable. And this power's on, pretty nice and easy. It's just a simple AC plug to a DC output for USB-C. So this little USB-C right here will also power it without having to be stepped into AC, which is, again, that's an important trick of this measure. And then come over here. And this cable I'm putting in it is a USB-C to USB-C. And just turn the switch on. The little plugs on the bottom. And it should shut the screen off there. And boom, there. That's the Switch's screen on this. And this is a full 1080p screen. It has actually a really good color range. It's a really nice image for, I think it was $130. They had a $25 off deal or whatever. One of those buy it now and we'll give you a sale kind of things. The Switch is also handy because the Pro controllers, which I have, sync directly to it, and they will allow you to use both of the Pro controllers, so this can be a screen that I mount inside the Jeep, plug the Switch into it when we're on the go, and have two Pro controllers to be able to play some Mario Kart or whatever we want to play against each other. And the other bit of it is the screen is going to also have these other inputs, so we can watch anything that we have on the Prime Stick, which this Amazon Prime Stick has Hulu, Netflix, and all the other apps and YouTube and all that stuff on it. So I just plug that in, and this voice-controlled remote here broadcasts to this here, which plugs in through HDMI, so I'll just get a little adapter that plugs the two together. and then I'll be able to watch TV because the Wi-Fi in the Jeep will support the Fire Stick and any of the other devices. So I'll be able to play games online with the Switch as well. Kind of takes away from the great outdoors, but every once in a while you do get trapped in those situations where you're going to wish you had some fun entertainment. And for the cheap couple bucks that these kind of screens are, they would be great if you were ever traveling in like a hotel, or if you were on an airplane and you wanted to have something to be able to play on a larger, more usable size screen. And for anyone who's, you know, hyper curious out there, because I'm sure there are, because it was me when I was looking these products up. So just for reference here, and note the screen protector is still on this screen, so you're not seeing the whole bit here. But the screen is, ooh, says 15 and I think 6 wide. But from the edge of the screen over, you're about 13.5 inches. The actual physical device here is about 14 inches. The total height with the chin up to the top, you're about 9 inches or just shy of. And then the screen on the front, height-wise, is 7 3/4 or just about. And then again, that diagonal is right around 15.6 is what they said. And that's about what it looks like on there too. So yeah, for 150 bucks, it's a pretty good screen. This is a pretty big rock I got the other day. Quartz, look at that. But yeah, I would definitely recommend this. This is really cool and could be very useful for a lot of different things. For my application, it's going to be great because it's going to be a very low power consumption device that I can run directly off of DC without having to step it into AC. So for my kind of portability, this is great. I've actually seen people use this exact device with the Switch's charge block or the power bank, and they will just, you know, they have the Switch on a short little leash just like it is, tucked right in the back, and you just have your power bank in there and you're able to use the screen and the Switch with your typical controllers. So yeah, those are the updates. I would advise, if you need strict 12 volts, that this is not the device for you.